because we had a limited schedule here, guys, and I know none of us are going to have a play on this game. We got to talk about this game, and we'll talk about this game just because that we got two teams that are pretty good teams today, and let's take a look at this pitching matchup. But anyway, the Astros are a $1.30 favorite. The Twins plus 120. The total in this game is 8.5. Remember, the suspended game, the Astros were winning last night 5-1 at the end of 3. They tried to wait for a couple hours with this game, so the Astros game getting ready to start here pretty soon. So it'll be interesting to see what the lineups look like. This is the second game of the day, the originally scheduled game that will go at 4:40 Eastern time here today. And it's Luis Garcia going against Josh Winder. And when you look at Winder, he has actually been pretty good. Only 4 earned runs allowed. Last 2 games, this guy has had 15 strikeouts and only 1 walk. On the flip side, Garcia's last 2 starts have been pretty good for the Astros. Just kind of a little bit of an interesting game here where you can maybe make a case for playing the Twins. Last time Garcia faced the Twins, I was actually at this game last year in Houston, and he was phenomenal. He went 6 shutout innings. He had 8 strikeouts in this game, looked really, really good. And that was the last time that the Twins saw him. But when you look at these two teams too, believe it or not, they're 2 of the top pitching teams in all of Major League Baseball. When you look at ERAs, I think Houston's at 3 and Minnesota's at 4 here. But Astros are rolling right now, but this may be a good spot for the Twins. So again, not that we're going to play this game at all, but just some thoughts for people that might be. BaseWinner, some thoughts on this game and specifically the pitching matchup.
Yeah, I have it probably priced where it needs to be. I've got Houston at minus 110. Winder's been really good. I mean, his BaseWinner ERA is like 2.32, or 2.14, but he's only pitched 12 innings, so I think you got to kind of take that for what it is. If I were to, this is an interesting game for me from a bullpen standpoint, because this Minnesota bullpen is really surprising by my metrics. And I wasn't like low on them, but I thought they would be like maybe in the top 15, top 10 if they're really good this year. But their swinging strike percentage leads baseball. They're 14.3% swinging strike percentage. Hard hit per 9 is 7th in baseball, and their expected walk rate is 4th in baseball. So if you combine all those metrics, just on the 3M chart, they're actually ahead of the Dodgers, because there's nothing in those metrics that quantify, and I'll talk about the Dodgers bullpen in just a second, but quantify the difference in the hard hit ball. So Minnesota's bullpen's pretty darn good, and I think that maybe it would be a situation where, okay, you could play the bullpen against the Houston bullpen. Houston bullpen, nothing to sneeze at, but they're 8th best. That you might be able to get a decent price in game. So maybe wait till the 5th or 6th inning when they start going bullpens and check that bullpen out for Minnesota.
All right. Jeff, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually going to add this play. I'm going to play under 8. I think this is a pretty solid play, to be quite frank. I think both these pitchers are solid. I've mentioned before that I like Garcia. Winder's been really solid. You're looking for whatever reason, this Minnesota team has really struggled at home this year to hit the baseball. They're hitting below 200 at Target Field, if that's still what it's called. And look, I might say something that might be a little rude to Houston people, but this offense blows. I mean, I right now at least, I mean, this offense all season has been terrible. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, I know recently they maybe hit it a little bit better, but this offense sucks. I mean, they're hitting 217 as a club, 180 over the last couple of games, just dreadful. Mark Borchard talked pretty eloquently about these bullpens. I think when you look at Houston, I know maybe he doesn't have them ranked as high, but when you look at just kind of raw number, just at some of the basic numbers, they've been very good. I mean, right there with the Yankees, not far off, frankly. I mean, the whip is very. Neither group really allow any home runs, so. I like this under. I think it's a strong play. I've also seen, and I don't love it, but the under come down from 8.5 to 8, which is a pretty glaring sharp move. I like the under in this game, under 8.
Well, to back that up as well too, when you get the second game of a doubleheader, which this technically is, because the Astros started their A lineup yesterday, and then they got to continue with that because remember, this is a suspended game. Major League Baseball very easily could have said, okay, scrap that. and keep the stats. But, with the makeup games and with everything, they want to try to keep these games together. So it was kind of rare that we got a suspended game. So they're going to keep that lineup together, and then again, half hour after this game's over, they're going to play the second game. So I can guarantee you, Dusty Baker is going to rest some of the Astros starters, which will be good for the under. And the same thing could be the case for Minnesota as well too. So probably a pretty good idea with that, Jeff. And let me just say this: as far as the Astros, they've won 8 in a row. But you're right. It's really not because of the offense. They've won a bunch of 3-2 games. The reason it has been their bullpen, and it has been surprisingly good, and they've been getting great starting pitching as well too.
Yeah, and as we've talked about on this show, one of the strong thoughts about the early season has been the amount of unders we've seen, right? And in a league dominated by unders, Houston reigns supreme by, quite frankly, a pretty wide margin. I mean, 73.5% of their games have gone under, 22-8 to the under. I mean, they're the highest percentage team as far as over-under is concerned. Minnesota's been pretty damn good to the under as well. 61% of their games have gone under. So, I'm looking at this game and I'm saying to myself, look, if this is 9-8, so be it.
All right, there it is. All right, we'll add Jeff his play here. We'll take the under. And remember, this is the second game, the regularly scheduled game today. And that'll be under 8 today.